Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here of the Wish You Were a Beer Show. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is a weekly beer review show that we do every Thursday night here, 8 p.m. Eastern. We stream it here through YouTube. We also do it through Facebook and Twitter. So find your medium to find us and come hang out with us every week. If you go to the About section, we do have all of our social medias listed as well as down here on the page. Follow along with us. You can see what beers we're having throughout the week or what shenanigans we may be up to in the beer world throughout the week. Our website is also listed at the top there, wishyouwerebeershow.com. If you check that out, you can find basically our entire catalog of shows we've done in the past. You can find a full running calendar, some of our beer blogs. We have a great merch store.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
A lot of different shirts. Some of them are episode themed. So if you watch that episode, there's probably an inside joke that we have created into a really ridiculous t-shirt.
True story.
We
Pretty
also
common.
have regular Wish You Were a Beer Show logos. We may be blurry because Andrew says that we are 8-bit.
Yeah, Andrew says, nice, 8-bit Daniel and Tiffany. Oh, no, that's never good.
Yeah.
We're lagging hard. What's up, Kev?
I hope it's not our internet.
It probably is.
I haven't restarted the router this week.
That's probably a problem.
Yeah.
That being said, we need to restart our router every couple of weeks. Keep up with that on our router blog page where we talk about how much our internet sucks.
Yep. So until then, just deal with us being blurry. And
if you're familiar with the show that we do every week here, I'm Daniel. This is Tiffany. Typically, our counterpart Phil is involved as well. He wasn't able to be here tonight. He is, I'm going to say traveling just to keep it clean, but I think he's doing drugs. I don't know yet. Now,
he had a work event.
Phil had a work event, so he wasn't able to be here tonight. So unfortunately, there's no one to push the technical difficulties button when Tiffany and I start arguing. So now,
Good luck out there.
Yeah, good luck on that. It's going to be a blast.
We're less than a month away from getting married, so we got to get them all in now.
I don't think that sounds right.
Yeah, no, I think you're supposed to fight before and then never again.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah. It's not how my first marriage worked, so I assume that was the worst version.
Yes, this is also accurate.
Yeah.
Phil is homeless.
Yes.
This checks out. And he's also living on an island in the Caribbean. So he's homeless, but he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's in a decent location.
He is going to survive.
Let me turn my Wi-Fi off.
That being said, thanks again for everybody stopping by. Again, we do this every Thursday night. So if you UFO video quality, we're lagging hard.
Hold on.
That's a problem.
Give me this.
That's going to be a problem.
Hold on.
Tiffany's going to fix the internet.
What kind of computer is this? Hold on. Oh, God.
There's not a chance Tiffany can fix the internet live. So
yeah, this is like when you share your screen at work and then you try and type something.
No one has to do that.
I assume a lot of people have to do that.
No.
And I don't know how to get out of this now. What is this?
All right. So anyway, we're going to keep going. I'm sure the internet will catch up eventually. In the meantime, we'll have some UFO quality video, I guess.
No, just
I
just don't know what your thing is. Stop. There it is. That is not what was there before. No, you're on the wrong one. You need to be on Ben Frank land, not Wu-Tang land.
Good. Oh my God, are we back?
I think we're back.
Calling it now.
I fixed it.
Best episode ever.
Hold on. It still says we're really bad. What the
Just
fuck
leave it
is
alone.
wrong with
It
our
doesn't
internet?
matter. All right.
Well,
You got to deal with what you get.
we're here live. We're not a cat.
So as we do every week, we're going to talk a little bit about some beer news that's happened in the industry this week. Kind of like an opening beer monologue, if you will, if you watch any late night television. This week I found an interesting story, and I know that we harp quite a bit on Anheuser-Busch or InBev. We've been talking a lot about the Bud Light issues that have been going on there. But they did release a story this week on the 7th, I believe, that they are offloading 8 different brands.
Yeah.
So they sold 8 different individual brands this week to a brand called Tilray Brands, which, if you're not familiar with them, they are a Canadian cannabis company.
Yes.
Who has been historically purchasing breweries
over the last 5 years.
Yeah. So one of the bigger ones, they already own Sweetwater Brewery, which most people are familiar with in the States, based out of Georgia, pretty large distribution. If you have not had one of their beers, they're fantastic. But so they already own that brewery, and now they've managed a deal with Anheuser-Busch for $85 million, and they purchased Shock Top, Breckenridge, who was the other?
10 Barrel.
10 Barrel Brewing out of Oregon, and Red Hook are probably the 4 biggest ones. They also, there's a cidery involved in there, and there's another one as well that we haven't heard of. But it's really interesting because Bud Light has had some issues, and we're seeing some issues with their quarterly profits. They're down. They're no longer the number 1 beer in the world. And yeah, Montauk, that's right. Thank you, Abby. But yes, so they basically offloaded $85 million worth of something they already owned to make up for potentially $120 million worth of loss in the past 2 quarters based off of the Bud Light catastrophe.
Well, and what's interesting is with these purchases of these different brands, Tilray will now have, also, sorry, I'm sick. So Tilray will now have brands with warehouses and commercial spaces in 4 different locations. 2 are in Oregon, 1 is in New York City, or no, New York, sorry, not the city. 1 is in New York and 1 is in Colorado.
Which is interesting because they are a cannabis company. Yes. So I think they're trying to corner a market. This is my personal opinion. This has not been put out in the news, but I think they're trying to corner a market in America that will be cannabis friendly and also be able to offer beer within the same location, based off of who they've bought so far. Yeah.
Either that, or they anticipated making it with cannabis being legalized, and with the way the federal government is going, probably assumed that wasn't a safe bet. So maybe they're going to the beer industry instead.
True.
So they can own both.
Yep.
Who knows?
This is true. And yeah, it's the distribution strategy. Absolutely.
Yep.
So they're looking for different channels to find something that they've already made revenue off of that they can also feed new revenue into, which is, it's a smart business move on both ends, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
So InBev basically just, sure, whatever, $85 million. That sounds great. Here's 8 brands. Whatever. Do whatever you want.
Wish I had 85.
Can't hurt us.
We didn't win the lottery. So.
No, we did not win the lottery. Congratulations to whoever won the lottery in Florida.
God, I hope they are.
Florida man wins lottery.
I hope they are the opposite of what DeSantis is trying to make Florida.
Yeah, good luck on that.
That'd be fun.
All right. So if you keep up with this every week, we are doing a new beer this week, just like we do every week. I unfortunately have had some control in the beer world, even though Tiffany brought this one back from her recent trip. This is a Brett IPA that we're doing. It's called Reclaimed. It's from Source Farmhouse Brewery. They're out of New Jersey, which, again, if you keep up on the show at all, there's a good chance that this is going to be my jam. Brett IPAs, wild ales, any type of crazy yeast. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of. So I'm excited for this beer. It features the cryo hop, which we probably won't get into too much. We've actually talked about that on a previous episode. Yeah. But this beer should be really good. A correct answer. All the best tasting notes, just horse blanket and hops.
Should be good.
Yeah.
Should be good.
So that being said, like we do every week, we've got a small little idea of what this brewery looks like.
Oh, hold on.
Phil wasn't here this week, so he didn't get to travel there. So unfortunately, we had to use mainly Google for this, but I applaud Phil for putting it together anyway, even though he couldn't travel.
Yeah.
God, just Godspeed. Let's see what this place looks like. Again, Source Farmhouse Brewery out of New Jersey. Like always, when we talk about like farmhouse breweries, this looks like exactly where I want to spend some time, which is really upsetting that it's in New Jersey, because New Jersey is historically not anywhere I want to spend a lot of time.
You gotta usually fly into Newark.
It's the Maryland of the East. Oh wait,
it's rough either way.
Yeah. So
I was there. That's how we got this.
And yes, I saw in the comments while the video was playing, there are farms in New Jersey. The Garden State side of New Jersey is really pretty. Yeah. As you saw in the slides there. So again, these are always places that get put on my to-do list, or places I want to travel to. Any of these farm breweries we've had on, the properties look gorgeous. Like the older buildings look amazing. And they serve beer. Like, get out of here. That's exactly where I want to spend time.
Yeah.
So I hope this beer lives up to it. This is actually true. Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, Andy, we saw you bought a Team B shirt. I'm proud of you.
Very excited.
I'm so proud of you. And yes, New Jersey is the Florida of the North. Take that for what it's worth. I love Florida. I love portions of New Jersey, but yes, that is an accurate statement. The Farm Pit of America Brewing. No, you're not going too far. If it works, it works.
By the way, it was Jack.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
We just...
So at this point in the show, just like we do every week, we are going to do a little bit of kind of what we consider trivia, but we do have an older clip that's called History and Facts. So we're going to play that.
We are on top of it.
Yeah.
Minus the internet.
Minus the internet
on top of
failing. We have hit every
it's the only thing we didn't check. / I didn't pull in slides. It's fine.
Everybody's gonna be fine.
These are the fun shows.
Yeah, true story.
Thanks everyone for showing up to watch us totally tank.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So we're gonna be doing a little bit of trivia. Sometimes it's about the brewery, sometimes it's about the beer, sometimes it's about the state the beer was brewed in. We got a litany of things that we typically go down. Tonight, again, we're doing Reclaimed from Source Farmhouse Brewery. They're out of New Jersey. And apparently I made up some questions that Tiffany has to answer.
Yeah. So you can read them.
Yeah, sorry, I was taking a sip of beer. All right. Source Farmhouse Brewery is located on an old dairy farm, as we saw in the pictures. If you've ever seen a dairy farm, they look very similar. How old is the barn that now serves as the tap room? Is it 100 years old? 110, 120, 130?
120.
You're going to say 120?
Yeah.
Okay. Getting a lot of
120.
110, 120, 120. Also, that'll be the wedding venue for Katie's next husband.
Yeah, so
Andy is right here.
That's Kevin.
100.
That was pulled in. I'm okay.
Okay. So a lot of 110s, 120s. And what did you say?
I said 120.
Okay. It's actually 130 years old. So they started the brewery in 2019. They started shopping properties the year prior to that. They found this dairy barn, fell in love with it, were able to purchase the property, and now we're in 2023. So 130 years old currently, and it serves as their tap room, which is really cool. So when you see those pictures on the inside, they really did rehab the whole inside of it, kept the outer shell of it. They were really careful to preserve a lot of the original aspects of the barn, which is always, if you're going to have a farmhouse brewery, you got to keep it true to whatever old style farm you purchased it from. Otherwise, whatever ghost died there will haunt you, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, my grandpappy.
Yeah, exactly. Old Bessie's going to get you. Well, it's New Jersey, so. What is that, a deer?
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Yeah, that's accurate. So yeah, no, I thought it was cool though, because it is an over 100-year-old building in general, and that still is where they serve the majority of the beer out of for their brand. So I think it's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready for the next question?
I was born ready.
Okay. There you go.
All right. So Source Farmhouse Brewing is currently adding a new property so that they can add to their tank space. The original location maxed out at 3,000 barrels a year. How many many barrels will the new expansion add?
This is on top of, obviously.
Correct. Yeah. So this is adding to the 3,000 barrels. How many will it add going forward?
5,000.
So you and Andy straight for the D.
I just thought that if you're going to expand,
you guys are.
If you're going to
crazy.
expand, you should just fucking do it.
No, I mean I agree, but
it is a lot.
That's a lot.
But maybe they really did have those kind of projections.
Okay.
Based on a obviously hired
Team D.
party.
It's bees, Andy. It's bees. Oh wait, yeah. Oh wait, sorry, Kevin. So you're going 5,000 as well.
Yeah,
so we got a lot of 5,000. We got 3,500
and a 2,000
and a 2,000. So it's really just Katie and Kevin that are wrong. So yes, they are expanding 5,000 barrels worth of tank space, which is, I think it's kind of crazy. So like they expanded to a new location as well. They have a location in Philly nowadays, which is where they're at in New Jersey is pretty close to Philadelphia. So they added a new tap house to begin with already. Now they're taking some of this building and making tank space further out in New Jersey on a separate property as well. And the goal for them is they do a lot of wild yeast and a lot of Bretts. So you got to be careful with your tanks. They're working in one brew house currently. So they're looking at making that more of the wild ale, the Bretts, the, temperamental yeast, so to speak, that you got to be careful contaminating other tanks with. So they're doing okay if you're looking at adding that many things to the menu is all I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yes, that's your only comment?
Yeah, that's a lot of beer, man.
Tiffany's here for the show. She normally adds some more color commentary, but this week it's yeah.
Well, we had to go with the time frame of the video quality. And also, fun fact, this shirt is from 2007 when my softball team won the adult championship.
You played softball?
Yeah.
Nobody on the internet would have guessed that by now.
So
can you hold that?
My shirt is also relatively old.
Speaking of relatively old,
2007 actually.
Wait.
That long ago, which is really sad.
All right, so
it seems like it was a long time ago.
We're 2 questions into trivia, which means we're going to open this beer so that we can pour it and try it throughout the rest of trivia, so we can give you a good full round taste profile on it without doing like a dumb gut reaction. Initially, when we started this show, we would do this at the end of trivia, and we'd have like one sip of it. And
let that one sit.
If you've ever drank beer, sometimes the first sip doesn't give you the best feeling about it, and then as you go on, it gets better. So we've been trying to do this a little bit earlier in the gig so that we can make sure that we really get to enjoy it and get a full picture of it before we just trash it on the internet.
Just put it back in the cooler area.
Okay.
Act like a champagne bottle.
I'm ready for the next question. If you are.
Oh, I mean, you could click it.
I can't.
Okay.
That's you have one job tonight.
Okay. Well,
other than color commentary.
Also said that my color commentary wasn't doing well. So.
All right. So Josh in the comments already gave you some math on this. If you're interested, you can backtrack some of this and reverse engineer the math. But
that's a lot of math because he said 12-ounce cans, and
how many 16-ounce beers are in a barrel of beer as regulated by the United States?
Also, Dana, it's the temperature. It's like just a lunchbox, just because our house is never cold.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right,
it's fine.
How many
60.
16-ounce
Yeah,
beers are in a barrel
312
of beer? Kevin, you should be able to answer this. Abby, I assume you can as well. So thank you for holding off. How many did you say?
I said C, 312.
Oh. This is a SAT question for
good news.
Yeah. Good news. They're getting rid of the SAT. You don't have to pass that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's 248. So there's 248 16-ounce beers in a barrel of beer. A barrel of beer is 31 gallons in the United States. I don't know if that varies outside of the country. I can only speak to where I live currently, which is the United States. So it's 31 gallons. In a barrel of beer, how many ounces are in a gallon? 128. So,
yep.
If you multiply 128 by 31,
you've already lost me.
Divide it by 16. There's
My
248.
dyslexia has kicked in, and I don't know what the first number was. And
248 16-ounce beers in a barrel of beer. So if we go back on the question we were at earlier, they raised their tank space potentially by 5,000.
Yeah, I know.
Took it up to 8,000 barrels. That is now 1,240,000 beers.
16-ounce beers.
12-ounce.
12-ounce beers.
Yeah.
I thought we were doing 16-ounce.
I did on that one, but I already had math pulled up. Just work with
Okay.
me here. Still a shit ton of beer.
I'm just saying, we're talking about different size beers. And considering this is a bottle that is an even completely different size beer from that.
This is true. There are
How?
144 beers in a keg. I've been told. I don't know that personally. I've never tested that at a party by myself when my friends didn't show up.
God,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
terrible.
Yeah, let's.
One more question, right? Yes. I did zero research.
I don't know.
on
Actually,
this.
I also did zero research. All right, true or false? Source Farmhouse Brewery doesn't have any core beers. So again, think about their production space. Think about the size they're about to go to. True or false? They don't have any core beers.
False.
I think Carol's answering for the question before, but we'll give it to her. So you're saying false?
Yeah.
False. Truisms. What freedom? What luxury? Abby, I can actually hear you saying this. So yes, the answer is actually true. This is one of the things that they pride themselves on. They're really big on trying to capture anybody that comes into the brewery with the style that they could potentially find and like, to offer beer to people that may not be beer people. And we see this a lot in the industry, you know, people who are really heavy sour games or really heavy lagers or really heavy IPAs, but they don't have a lot else on the menu. You're going to capture a certain portion of the market, but eventually people who are seeking beer out aren't necessarily going to be there. So I think it's interesting not to have a core beer. I think
I'm sure they have a base and then they just consistently change it.
Well, so most of what they're doing while they added the tank space again is your wild, your Bretts, stuff like that. So they do a lot of that style
or just longer fermentation.
But they don't have a core beer. So you can't go in there and find Source Farmhouse Brewing's lager that's always on draft. Nope.
It could be a variant of their lager. So it's a
Correct.
Lager base.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. But it's not a core beer like we normally think about with breweries in general.
Right.
And like we talked about last week as well, this beer is secondary fermentation in the bottle as well. So if you leave it for a little bit, let it hang out for a little bit, it'll be a different beer than when you got it off of the shelf, which is interesting as always. I'm going for a Katie in college. I'm failing everything. Katie, you're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. Just fine. Timmy's going to read the bottle on live internet for a few minutes.
Figure out when it was bottled, so then you know how long it's been extra fermenting. But it doesn't say that.
Yeah, true story.
It's not even like a bottle of wine is like, hey, by the way, these are from grapes from 2010.
It's a surprise every time.
That was a terrible year for wine.
Did you try this beer yet?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I actually have no idea 2010 was a terrible year, so do not take my word
the grapes
for it.
didn't do well that year.
I am.
So this is the portion of the show we're going to review the beer. Again, this is Reclaimed. It's from Source Farmhouse Brewery out of New Jersey. It is a Brett IPA, which is...
By the way, I picked this up in New Jersey, so it's pretty fresh.
Tiffany sought the source.
I did.
Which is always fun. That being said, I'll go first because I feel like everybody probably knows how I feel about this beer already. It's fucking delicious.
Yeah.
Brett IPAs are kind of right up my alley in any portion, no matter where they come from. They're usually surprisingly funky or sour or weird, even whatever the bottle says. There is a lot of fruit notes on this one, which is fun. It's not extremely funky or extremely sour.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice and in the middle. You still get some of the IPA flavors to it, but it is still definitely a Brett IPA. Which sometimes I feel like you get one or the other out of a lot of these beers.
Yeah.
And this one is right where it should be.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun.
It's tart, but still an IPA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I think is some of the fruit notes from it. There's There's a little bit of cherry, like weird stuff in there. There's a little bit of stone fruit, which
I don't
is
recall what this says, even though I just had it in my face. I wasn't looking.
also just a lot of good fruit flavor profiles that go well with this blend of beer. I think it's really well done. I probably would have let this sit for almost another month or so before I opened it, because it is secondary fermentation. I'd like to see what it does after a little while. But in the meantime, it's fantastic.
I bet you that'd be fantastic in like a year from now.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's 4.25 easily. We do these through Untapped. I know it's nobody's favorite if you're in the beer industry, but it is a nice way to catalog all of our beers and give them scores 1 to 5. So 4.25 for me.
Okay. I agree. No, I'm kidding.
Color commentary.
No, I'm just very worried about this internet, and that's fine. I
don't care.
I can see the little Wi-Fi symbol in the corner.
No, it's just your mom needed to adjust focus.
You look like Paxa.
Just keep going.
It's fine. Okay, so it's essentially a slightly funky tart IPA. So it's got a little bit of the Brett flavoring to it, in the sense that it doesn't taste like any other IPA I've ever had. But it still has the IPA hop bite to it.
Sure.
And so it's a really interesting pairing that is really well balanced and well done. I'm also going to give it a 4.25. I definitely would drink a whole bottle of this, and we're going to.
Well, yeah, we're already getting pretty close there.
I didn't think I poured that much out.
You 100% did. And I apologize for your mistake.
Oh.
So that is a show score of 4.25, which is great. It's a phenomenal beer.
Yeah.
Based off the brewery and some of the research we did on them this week as well. Yeah, I drink the shit and I'd hang out with them all day long. So yeah.
Cool. Well, now what next? What do you want to do?
Oh, I'm gonna change it up anyway. We're already looking like Picasso anyway.
That's what my mom was trying to type.
Yeah, I know. I know. She added it back in. Picasso painting.
Still spelled wrong.
For the record, though, Picasso made a fuck ton of money. So if we look like one of his paintings, I'll take
dead,
it.
Though, wasn't he one of the?
I'll cut my ear off if that's what it means.
I can't remember if he was a post-death guy.
Yeah, he was 100%. He did not make any money while he was alive. I mean, he did okay, but
I don't know. He died.
All right,
so we don't know.
So at this point in the show, normally we would go into Untapped reviews. It's just Tiffany and I tonight, and Phil is out of town, so we figured we'd do something a little bit different. It's something
like the video quality surprise.
The video quality's one. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Van Gogh. So we figured we'd do something a little bit different tonight. It's one thing that we want to start doing on the show in general anyway. We always like to highlight some of our local breweries that we spend time with and people that we hang out with some regularity.
Or just anyone that wants to announce fun things on our show.
I'd like it to be people that we care about.
I mean, they get priority.
Yeah, true story. So that being said, we do have a good friend of ours on tonight from Coastal Fermentory. They've got a lot of things coming up in the wheelhouse. Seth has been a friend of ours pretty much since they opened, and he's been on the show a few different times as well. Hopefully his internet quality is better than ours, and we'll find out. Oh my God, you look great.
I know. I mean, you look great. Get the memo that I was supposed to stream from a flip phone tonight, so that's my bad.
I tell you, man, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, our razor is it's currently plugged in.
Yeah, you can hear us though, right?
I can hear you. Yeah,
I mean, like we're not choppy sound wise, just video, right?
No, this is one of the worst dubs I've ever watched, though. So that's you're like mouths are moving and then words are coming, so it works.
We're actually this is the first one we've done with Chat GPT. We're not even involved.
Fuck. I'm gonna just assume Phil's in charge of the internet. That's his role.
He can't control our internet. No. It just randomly decides to shit the bed.
And it's like, for the record, I was on plenty of work calls earlier today and had zero problems with the internet. So all of a sudden, come 8 p.m., all of a sudden it's like, too much.
I love it.
So
yeah, whatever. You get what you get. Seth's in 4K though, looking good.
I know. I don't know if that's a
know.
good thing or bad, but it's all right.
I'm gonna go with bad, but that's so I wanted to bring you guys on tonight for a few minutes. Y'all have a ton of stuff in the works. You've been really busy. I mean, y'all do a ton of great work throughout the city of Newport News. You do a lot of good events that do a lot of good things for the community, but y'all also have some relatively bigger news, maybe.
Yeah. So the biggest news we've got right now is location 2. So we recently announced that we're going to be opening up our second spot, and it's going to be here on the peninsula, also in Newport News. Newport News is one of those crazy, really, really skinny and really, really long cities. So even though it'll be in the same Newport News, it'll be about 25 minutes away, and depending on how bad traffic on Jefferson gets, it can be even further than that. So yeah, it's a great spot for us. We're excited about moving in up there. It's closer to where a lot more people live versus where we're at now, which is close to where a lot of people work. And so we're hoping to create the amazing double dip, right? You go to Coastal after work and then go home and get your spouse, and then you go to Coastal after dinner kind of thing. So we'll see if it works.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a killer idea, though. Based off the location points, I'm like, yeah, that's actually probably going to work really well.
Sounds like a lot of drinking.
Sounds like a lot of drinking
And driving.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we should encourage that. Oh no, now it's blurry on this side too. We're blurry on like our side. We've been clear the entire time.
It's fine though.
God, it's terrible. I'm so sorry.
So now, are you guys going to be brewing at the second location, or is it purely going to be a tap house?
Yeah, so we'll be what we're looking at right now, and it's still until the architects get back plans and then contractors give us dollar amounts. It's all just a dreamscape. But we're looking at brewing our house-made kombucha will be brewed at the second location. We're gonna age a lot of beer there in barrels, so it'll be some barrel storage space as well at that spot. So we may do some pilot batch brews, some beers on our old 1-barrel system that we got our start on, but mostly it'll be a lot of kombucha and a lot of barrel aged beer. So
yeah, I dig that though, because that space that you're in currently already has some barrel space. You're already brewing kombucha in it, and so if you can add on to that, I think that'll be killer, man.
Yeah, and the big part's the safety, right? The cleanliness. With wild beer, with kombucha is the same way. The cross contamination risk is there. So we've been acknowledging that we're not the safest brewery currently.
You're walking a thin line for sure.
We're safe if OSHA asks. And if anybody on here is from OSHA, we're good. You can come check it out. We're good to go. But as far as sanitation goes, having mixed fermentation and traditional beers in the same facility is more on the risky side for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Now you guys also y'all were at the Virginia Beer Cup. Didn't you win an award with a mixed fermentation beer?
Yeah. So actually it was awesome. Our area in the Hampton Roads area, 757 swept the mixed fermentation category, which is always fun to do when you've got over 200 breweries in the state. And for a style of beer that's near and dear to my heart and obscure and weird. But yeah, our friends down from us at Benchtop won gold in the category. We picked up a silver medal for a beer that's going to be released here in the next few weeks. And then our friends up at Aleworks in Williamsburg won bronze for their sour as well. So it was super fun. it's always cool to be like 757 owns the mixed fermentation category. So that was
a weird place to own it. Yeah, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Now, so that was one fooder. I think there's another beer in the other fooder that could potentially win some awards. That's a little further out still.
That one's a little further
But
out. This
sounds like it's got promise.
It's got some promise. The beer that won was actually the beer we pulled out of the fooder to make room in the fooder for the beer you're insinuating that you put in our fooder.
Yeah. I love that we sloppy second your fooder.
What?
Well, somebody had to, so it might as well be
Somebody's
you guys.
got to. Yeah, you can't be the first in. This isn't high school. Ugh. I love it. Now I do. When you told me that you guys kind of swept that mixed fermentation like award series, I was like, that's crazy to me that this little pocket of Virginia is killing fucking mixed fermentation, because you don't think about it because of the sanitary issues. Again, you got to keep that stuff separate. You got to keep it clean. It's a different animal.
Yeah. It's a totally.
And I think totally a lot about the farmhouse.
Everything.
Yeah, and my Josh asks, is kombucha really doing well? A lot of breweries are doing it, but I've never enjoyed it.
Yeah. So it does very well. And I understand there are a lot of people that don't love the smell of feet or the taste of vinegar. Which is what most kombucha tastes like and smells like. So ours kind of cuts that back a little bit. We use a more Eastern Asian style of kombucha versus the Slavic Baltic area that does the black tea based. Ours is a green tea based, and so it's a little bit lighter on the feet smell, and it's not nearly as vinegary as what you've had when like you go over to your buddy's house and they're like, "Hey, you got to try my kombucha," and then you're like,
I made
"This was
some
a
in the pantry with a cheesecloth."
Yeah,
I have a lavender variant in the fridge right now, and it's very good.
Yeah. When people know how to do it, it's pretty good. So yeah, it does pretty well for us for sure.
Who handles the house-made June or kombucha for you guys?
That's my wife. Thanks for that setup, Daniel.
You're welcome.
So yeah, my wife is a working yoga teacher, kombucha brewer, and yeah, she's the hippie in the family for sure. And she married me, so she obviously has some dirty hippie in her.
She's obviously a fucking saint.
Yeah. But it's been really cool. She does a lot she does all of that brewing. But it's been fun over the last couple months to see more of our staff get involved in that process. One of our cellar hands, who's been doing some more brewing, Ripken, recently did a massive wild foraging of plums that have been processed and are sitting in a freezer right now waiting for a future batch of kombucha. He did a whole big batch of blackberries, so we had a wild foraged blackberry kombucha on tap for a while, and it's been cool to see that. We've done, since she's obviously a lady brewer, which is just another way of saying brewer, but she's in the Pink Boots Society, and so we've done our female staff have come together to make a dry hopped kombucha with the Pink Boots blend before. And things like that to try to highlight that unique skill set and that unique feature of and highlight women in the brew house, right? Like that's an awesome thing. Women in the industry is good. And so being able to kind of highlight that as part of our story and part of Coastal is a big part for sure.
Yeah, I dig that. I mean, I think you guys have always been well represented in that world anyway, because of the kombucha and kind of some of the causes that you guys typically drive on your weekly events, your monthly events, stuff like that.
Or just how women feel when they walk in your brewery.
I've never been a woman that walked in there, so I don't know.
I can tell you it's not bad.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So Andrew wants to know if you sell kombucha in cans or bottles.
We do. So we sell our kombucha, or as Andrew made the pun, you can pull it up if you want, the kombucha in crowlers. There you go. That was great, man. I appreciate a good joke.
Here's a bottle.
Bottle joke.
Dana, that one felt a little more forced.
Well, it could be worse. Here's my kombucha SCOBY. Sweet. Looks and smells like death.
Yeah, but we do them in the resealable crowlers. So for a lot of kombucha drinkers, they don't drink it just because they enjoy it. They drink a few ounces a day for positive the probiotic gut health and things like that. And so we sell it to go, and we sell it in a resealable crowler. So we have regulars that'll come in every week and buy their can and then sip on it throughout the week to make sure they stay regular. And it keeps them regulars. So it's a win-win for sure.
2 regulars, 1 can.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so with your new location, do you have a prospective timeline on it, or is it still early enough in the game that who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, so it's going to be before Beals. We know that, but
there's a good chance. But we're looking at 6 to 9 months. We've been told that's aggressive by a lot of people. We're still waiting in the process for once we have plans from an architect, then contractors can actually give us a build out time. Right now, it's still just them shooting from the hip and us kind of showing some drawings and showing some of the preliminary work, but there's not enough concrete. I know how long all this will take to order, and I know how much it'll cost, and you guys could be open by this point. So we're shooting for Q1 of next year, but that'll be tight for sure.
I think if anybody can do it, Seth, it's you.
I appreciate that, but I can't build a brewery. So
that vote of confidence was real strong.
I gotta let the pros do it and tell me.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, you make beer, let somebody else swing a hammer, man. I get it. No, but Seth, thank you for stopping by as always, man. You're always one of my people that if I want somebody local to talk to about anything, whether it's beer, whether it's about
knowledge in general,
bullshit, the Bible, I got you.
You know, I'm well rounded.
Well, I don't want to talk about your weight. I'd like to just keep it to beer and like things you know about each other.
Thanks.
Yeah, I do it. I do what I can. I do what I can.
Terrible dad joke.
That was a great dad joke. But no, thank you as always for stopping by. I'm super excited for y'all's new location. Unfortunately, it means you probably won't see me at your original location much because this is way closer to where we live.
Yep. Yeah. But thank you for moving closer so that we could Uber there and afford it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of our primary things we were looking for in a second location is where can Daniel and Tiffany afford to Uber? So
thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that worked out.
Now, does this mean the 23rd Street Marathon will actually extend to the second location and almost be a marathon?
No, that's way too far. Nobody wants to run that far. Only crazy people do that.
I'm good. I like the other one.
I do as well.
And the mayor has now dubbed it as official. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's legit now, so we can't change it.
Now, didn't you guys just have the vice mayor of Newport News in Cannon Beer with you today?
Yeah, Curtis came in today. Curtis Bethany, the vice mayor of Newport News, was in today canning up. We did a collaboration with the city. And so Newport News Lager It will be out at the brewery tomorrow. And then for anybody that's local on Saturday that wants to come hang out at City Center for the Made in Newport News event. Actually, all three of our local craft breweries here in Newport News will be pouring beer at the beer tent. And has been awesome to partner up with our friends over at Tradition with 1700, and then convince the city to let us work together to run this thing for them. And so it'll be a sweet event with a lot of good beer there. So we're excited about that too.
Yeah, I dig that.
We're gonna attempt to stop by, but
yeah,
Daniel still doesn't have a suit for our wedding, which is in less than a month. So
you can buy a suit anywhere.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Lord, I love it. Seth, thank you again so much for stopping by. I'm so sorry that your internet was so much better than ours and you've been playing catch up on everything we said, but you're the man.
It's all right.
Awesome.
We'll see you soon, and I'm looking forward to your second location.
Yes, congrats on that.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Bye.
Yeah,
take care.
Cheers. All right, we're going to close the show down because apparently we're just lagging the entire time anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for sticking around as always.
I didn't even need to do makeup for this.
Despite our 8-bit internet connection. Next week, we're really excited. So we did a beer from Back Home Beer months ago, which is a female-owned brewery out of New York City, and she's a one-woman operation. We finally got back in touch with her. We found another one of her beers. She's going to be on the show with us next week. Should be a lot of fun to talk to. She's got a great story.
Yes.
If you look up Back Home Beer, her background's really crazy and really fun, and I'm glad she's making beer, and her last beer was great. So I'm looking forward to this other one that we haven't had yet. Again, we do this every Thursday night, usually with better internet. And
I'll reboot the router next Thursday.
yeah, we're gonna.
Oh, I won't. No, I'll be here next Thursday.
Normally people go home to do sex stuff. We're gonna reboot the router so that we can make sure this show goes well next week.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but again, as always, thank you for everybody that stops by here for some reason to hang out with us. We appreciate all our friends, all our beer folks we've gotten to know. If you're new to the show, follow along with us. Make sure that you check in with us on the website.
Buy our cool shirts. Team Bees, Team Cheese.
Your mom's Team Cheese.